Hi everyone, welcome back. I want to share with you what I got. I was enabled by the price. I purchased these 50 set of alcohol markers from Amazon. I will link it in the description box. I'm not affiliated. I don't get any kickback, not even 5 cents, anything like that. I'll link the information in the description box for you if you're interested. I paid $15 for them, and that's with tax. We pay taxes in in the state that I live, so I'm not sure if you have to pay tax or not on your online order from Amazon. But I also want to talk really quickly about the program that I do participate in. Again, I don't get any money. It's called smile.amazon.com. So you go on to it and you log into it and you pick a charity, an organization that you want to donate some of your the proceeds from Amazon to. And so we have a train museum here. I think it's called Transportation or Train or whatever. And they have a little train ride that you can ride. It's like a 5-minute there and back, total 5-minute ride that you can ride. And so I donate to that when I purchase from Amazon, smile.amazon.com, because my son is into trains. So I feel like I can give back to the community while making purchases. So Amazon is giving them some of the proceeds or whatever. So anyway, yeah, side note, right? So this was 15 bucks. I think it's on sale right now for $13. So I feel like that's a great deal. Now I want to tell you the pros, right? The pros is it comes in its own little carrying case. It's a cute little case. You can, it reminds me of milk for your kids, but I mean, the case is good. I'm not too familiar with SPREEY, but a lot of crafter colorists use it, and so that would be great. I did do an unboxing video, but I'm choosing not to upload it, keep it. I've deleted the video already, but I will tell you that I feel like the colors, it's not enough colors in here. Yes, it's 50 markers, I get it. It's too many yellows in my opinion. I think I counted 6 or 7 yellow colors, and 3 of them are almost the exact same color. So we don't need, in my opinion, don't need all those yellows. Like, it's one orange, like one true orange in the whole situation. I feel like they could have put maybe two oranges. So they could have took out a yellow, put 2 oranges. They could I know it's going to be controversial, but they could have took out some of these blues, a whole row of blue and greens. They could have took that out, and they could have gave us more brown. It's only no real purple in here. This is more blue than purple, and this is more wine color, because I think this is the color wine. So they could have gave us like maybe 2 purples and took away some of those. I know it's hard for companies to pick which 50 colors they're going to put into, or 25 or 186. I feel like it's one company I saw that has like 500. I really want those colors too. Poi Spice had asked me before if I had ever heard of them, and I was like, no. And then I saw someone do a review, and I was like, oh, I really want to go buy them. I can't afford those markers, the color pencils, because they're too much money, too much. But Black Friday is coming up, and hopefully they are cheaper. So this is my swatches that I did of them, and as you can see, these are a lot of the same yellows. I actually started on this side, so a lot of the same yellows. And I pulled out some of my other markers and kind of compared them together, and I did some blending. And so this was 2 days ago, I believe. So this is pretty good. The color still is good to go. And this is just 65-pound paper. I mean, 110 paper that I had on hand, and it works out great. But today we're going to actually take these out for a spin. They do have a color blender, and also the good thing about these markers is why I really bought them is that they're brush tipped. So if you're into coloring and you want to try a dupe of the Copic markers, then that may be something you would be interested in. I am not sure, but you know, you could try those out. I also want to share with you, I'm going to put, I guess, 2 links in. I'll put the smile.com, well, 3, the smile.com, the SPREEY direct link, and this link right here. So this is I want to say this is one of the princess stamps, I think, but I'm not quite sure if that's really what it is, because I spent money on these, right? These princess stamps. A lot of money, because I tried to get the whole collection. Some were more expensive than others, but these stamps, I think it's like 40 stamps, for the images, not stamps. For the images that they have on their website is free. You can download them and do as you please. Now, I did not look at the angel policy, but I am going to go out on a limb and say, you know, it's probably some policies about printing them and trying to sell them, etc., etc. But, you know, for what we're going to do, it would be great. So this is going to be a first impression craft and chat video. So also they have a little card in here and it tells you the name of the colors. So like I said, like number 81 is that purple. It's called Deep Violet. It's more of a wine color. I guess Deep Violet would be a wine color, but it gives you a list of what's on here. And if you wanted to swatch them out to see, you could swatch them out on here. What I would probably do is say, copy this and blow it up so it's a lot larger and then use it. Because one little stroke is not really a good swatch in my opinion, but I'm not a colorist. You know, a professional colorist. I color for fun and it makes me happy. So I thought this would be really, really pretty to color when I was looking through the images. And I was like, oh, I could do a different approach than just an unboxing of the markers. I'm not going to do a real review on these. I don't feel like it's needed to do a review. But if you're interested, let me know. And maybe we could work something out. So I'm going to pull out these colors. Now, I am into flowers. And these are so pretty. I don't know what any of these things are, though. Like, I don't know what the flowers' real names would be. So, I don't know. Also, you know, like I said, they have a lot of blues. They have a lot of greens in here, but not enough greens. Just some kind of oddballish colors, in my opinion. But again, you can go online and find out the larger set. So that's totally up to you if you want to do that. Like, I always pull this green out because I feel like this green is lighter than what it really is. And it says yellow. The Y, I've given them my own coding. So like this one says GY. I'm thinking it means green yellow. Right? So yeah, just bear with that. I'm sure if we go and look up the coloring thing, it'll show us what's going on. I think that I'm going to try and incorporate a little bit more coloring with you all versus not coloring with you all. I haven't colored and chatted in a long, long time. So I want to just talk to you all quickly about what has been going on in my life. And the answer is absolutely nothing, really. I know you were waiting for something like probably dramatic. Just everyday living and outside influence. Nicholas went to the vet again for the same thing he had an issue with in March. I can't believe it was March. I thought it was like April. But anyway, April or May. So I took him to the vet again. And I thought I had caught it. Like, I thought I had caught it before it was the vet bill that I received. But it wasn't. Yes, it was a pretty hefty price to pay for him to get treated. And on Sunday, you'll probably see this video on August. So the 25th of July, he had to go and have his sutures removed. I mean, he's fine now. I'll just cut that out in case you're wondering. He's fine now, but he had, in my opinion, a big surgery. It was $2,000 surgery. So, and I used to have pet insurance, and then I didn't have it I didn't renew it. The company kind of took a change for what they were doing. So, and we didn't see eye to eye. Like, I spoke to someone on the phone and they were kind of just not very friendly. So I was like, I'll just get insurance from someone else, a different company. And then I never did. And here we are. Not even a full year has gone by. He's been to the doctor twice. So, you know, lesson learned. Get pet insurance if you have pets. Especially if you have more than one. It would probably be very beneficial to get some kind of coverage. If, you know, your pets could get sick at any time. And so, like, the insurance that I had is, like, you go that I had. You go to the doctor for whatever you need to go for, and then if they get when they get treated, you get a check back. You send in your doctor's visit or whatever, as long as it's not like a pre-existing condition. You send in your doctor's, the pet's invoice, and you get money back on there. So that was a great deal. But then I think the company merged with a different company, and some of the, like when you do big mergers, the policies kind of change, and yeah, it wasn't gonna work out for me. In the end, it didn't, So I don't have pet insurance. Bottom line, I don't have pet insurance. I need to get it. So these markers, the gray is the gray side is the paint brush, the brush tip, and then the chisel. And the chisels, they're pretty decent as well. And the lids can go on either side, which is great. Some of the markers I purchased, the lids, even though they go on either side, it kind of feels a little bit on the weird side using them. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. I want a light pink for these little buds right here. Even though the gray is on that side, I still pull it off on the wrong side. So yeah, that's been occupying some of my time, because I've had to take him to the vet a few times he had a fentanyl patch. So after he had the procedure, I had to take him back in 2 days and have that removed. And then I had to take him back to have his sutures removed. And he was getting medication, so I had to give him medication twice a day. And, just things like that. Just normal life stuff that if you have a pet. But I told the big room, I said, after this guy, no more. We're not getting any more pets. No more pets. And I know it's probably like a big insult to people that have animals. And I probably will end up getting another pet at some point. But not right now. Because I'm like the sole provider for Nicholas. Like I do everything for him. Change his litter, order all his food. And I do that for everybody, the big roommate and the little roommate. I am the sole caretaker, I should say, not provider, caretaker for everyone in the house. And it gets old. I must admit, it gets old over time. I'm looking for a yellow. I want to try to drag this pink out like that a little bit. Yeah, to create like an orange effect. But I want this yellow to be kind of a little bit brighter, but we're going to just stick to whatever came in this set of 50. Would I go online and buy more of these markers? Yes. Would I buy these again at the price? Yes. But Amazon has a tendency of creating this need for things and then creating a price raise, drop. So if I could find them again for the price that I got, yes, but it's not enough colors in here. A variety. It's 50 colors, yes, I know, but it's all yellows and blues. Like you get 5 yellows, 5 blues, if not more. And the yellows are not really like popping yellows. They're not like bold and bright yellows. They're kind of muted and dull, but they would make good skin tones. I think like you can do it and get some good skin tonage out of it. And then let's see what else is going on. Nothing really major is going on besides life and things I really don't want to put other people's business out in the streets. But my family business, not like, oh, my friend, the left-handed crafter called me and was telling me all about her cat, and not that kind of business. Like family issues, which is really, really, really rough for me. It's rough for and on me right now. I'm going through that really hard. So, and it's so quick this year has gone by so fast. So a year is coming up on my aunt's passing anniversary, as well as Thanksgiving, which is when she passed. So I can feel like that whole anxiety type situation creeping up on me. This is P84. I like this color. Now that's a pretty color. We can use this. I like pictures with birds in them, because in my head, like, I'm like the super artist that I can color. Like, I want to fade these in. I want this to be yellow though. Like, I want it to be a yellow bird, and I just told you I don't have like really good yellow color in here. So we'll see what we get when we get to coloring that bird. And then a lady, it's a few skin tones in. I think we'll try it. And I had got some color pencils recently that I think I may like just do a color pencil series. I am not going to be doing like shading techniques and stuff, because I don't really color to show you how great a colorist, person that colors, you know, whatever the word is in coloring. I feel like these are some succulents, and I feel like these should have been green right here at the base and then came out purple. So I'll go back in and put a little bit of green in there. Have you seen those succulents like that? They're like purple and green. They're so pretty. I can grow succulents because, you know, I guess they're part of the, well, succulent family, cactus or whatever, and they tend to grow pretty decent with me. Although I have, in the past, I have killed a cactus before, so I was underwatering it, and then I started overwatering. So I'm gonna use this Y42. I'm just gonna come in on the tips, I suppose. Oh, not all of them, right? Just a few. So I really like succulents, like the geraniums that you can create, planetarium, whatever it's called. And, you know, you can put them outside. The thing is, I worry about my foliage here. We have a rose bush in our backyard that if you tend to it, it won't grow. But if you leave it alone and just let nature take its course, it flourishes. The same thing, we had some large cactus in the backyard, and our neighbor was kind of complaining. She was like, oh, it's rats. I'm just going to color back over it to give it a cohesive look, not like I colored and then colored again. And so, you know, we chopped down because I wasn't home then when she was saying that. I was in another state. And she was saying, oh, I saw a rat. And then my other neighbor called me and told me. And then when I came home, I was like, she has a forest in her, like a rainforest. She had like all kinds of trees growing in her backyard, fruit trees. I'm like, they're not here for no cactus. They over there for those peaches. You know, she had a lot of those type of trees growing. But I was like, the cactus was there as a deterrent for people to jump the fence. Because, you know, if you jump into a pile of cactus, you think twice about doing that. So that's why the cactus was actually there. But now that I have a little guy, he runs and he's a wild man. So I don't mind him not being. I do not like that yellow. That's for sure. The thing about coloring in darker over lighter, you can't do light and then, you can't do dark and then light, right? You need to be light, then dark, then light again. Because the light color will get lost in it. So, but I feel like the artists that drew these pictures, whoever they were, they created these to look really pretty. And this would be good like a watercoloring. But you can see how they have put shading in. So if you want to like color heavy in that one spot, you could definitely make that happen versus not make that happen. I really like these colors on this side though. Those are pretty colors. Like these are one of my favorite crafty colors to use because it's just so pretty. You know, it's like pretty. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's just pretty. So we're probably going to stick around with those kind of colors throughout this whole coloring. So yeah, I finally got to the doctor. Finally, after almost a year and a half going by. And, you know, I was like, you know, I was having issues getting to see you. And he was like, I was the only provider here. A lot of people quit or got fired. And I was like, good. Like, you know, I've said this before, and this is no offense to anybody that's considered a frontline worker, be it working in a grocery store or in a medical facility. But some people just suck at their job. And they don't need to have that, you know, they don't need to be in that position. And I had looked at the clinic again where people can leave reviews, and it was like, these people suck. I was on hold for X amount of time, blah, blah, blah. And so when I got to the clinic and I talked to my doctor, I was like, yeah, I was getting ready to ask you how I get a new provider, because I said, you know, and I said this last year, people that were not affected themselves with this and they have other illnesses were going to get sick because you can't see the doctor. Like, you can't see the provider at all because of that. Like, unless you know, like at the beginning of last year, if you had surgery, they were okay with seeing you. They were okay with this, but then you became high risk because you had just had surgery and things like that. It was just so crazy. I remember just thinking about my aunt. She was in and out of the hospital. I was like, do you have it? And she was like, no, I don't have, you know, I don't have it. And she got tested a few good times and she was upset about it. Like, keep sticking that thing in my nose. I told him it hurt. I was like, oh no, you know. The first time she did it, she was a little bit more healthier than she was the last time she got it. So, you know, she was in pain. Like, if you've been sick, ever been sick, you know, everything irritates you. Everything causes you to have some kind of heartache about the procedure that's going on. So I was just, you know, I felt very bad for her at the time because I couldn't do anything. Like, you know, you can't do anything with people that are getting tested. Like, if they get urinalysis and they have to have a catheter inserted, that's their journey to go through, not yours. You can't, all you can do is like hold their hand, but other than that, you're not really there for much. I'm gonna make this peachy color, right? I think this is pretty too. And that's YR27. So I saw some markers at the store yesterday. We went out on a mini excursion, I guess. A little. I got to go back out today too. I was going to do some other stuff, but I have to go and look for something for the big roommate. So, you know, when we go out today, I've been eyeballing these markers. I bought some markers to give to a friend. And I just got to mail out the packages. I'm just working on a few more things. But now I'm just going to go ahead and put everything in the box. And hope for the best, you know, when it comes to the finishing touches. So let me tell you. So I know I've been telling you that a lot lately. Like, I'm working on this one thing. I need to figure out this one thing. I finished it. I made it. Like, I did it. And it is not what I wanted it to be, right? But, you know, they have this thing in crafting that's measuring. Like, who puts measurements in fun stuff? Well, it took me all morning to figure that out, right? Not the measurement itself. That was R13. And now we're just going to go back over it. And if I did a decent job, you won't see it too much. There we go. There we go. I feel like it needs a little bit more something. So we'll see. Maybe a different color. Yeah, let's put a stroke of something else. And this is a good thing about these being brush markers, right? You can just kind of go in and brush. I'm just adding that detail myself. It's not in there at all. But I think it'll be cool. Like the stamen. I really like these images. And when I saw that they were free, I was like, that is great. No one shared that tiny detail with me. And I'm going to go back over it again. And I'm just going to color a little bit harder. Yep. So now I'm just dragging that color all around. All three of those colors I'm going to drag as best as possible. All right, there we go. Yeah, so numbers and measuring. And you know, the thing about when you're creating something, and this is in general, so I mean, I know this already, but sometimes you're going to have more fails than you're going to have great, right? Because once you get to the point that you're trying to achieve, you only have one thing, and that's it. You're not going to have 5 or 6 good ones. You're going to have the one good one where you have all the other fails. So at the end of that project, I ended up throwing like a lot of failed things in the trash, which I was totally like okay with. I probably was a little bit like, you got to pay attention, this is the same number, and like in my head things make a lot more sense than they do in actuality. So I was definitely thinking I'm going to work this out, and I ended up working it out. And at the end of the whole project, I still had to scrap one of my ideas because of the measurements. It was just too off. Like, I want the measurements to be easy for everyone to understand. I don't want them to be, all right, you're going to take 5 17 of an eighth and divide that by 7 and carry the 2 and multiply by 6 and add 2 to it, and that's the measurement that you get. I want it to be kind of like, okay, you're going to take a 5 by 5 sheet of paper. You know, I want it to be like that. I don't want it to be, even though it is some funky measurements in there, I must admit it is a few funky measurements. I want it to be not a lot of funky measurements, though. I prefer not a lot of funky over too many funky. If that makes any sense at all to you. So we got this pink going on. Like, these markers force you to use certain colors because they don't have other ones. But you know, yellow and red, you can make some orange in there. So you can use your primary and secondary colors to get the colors you may want. But with 50 colors, I feel like I could get 2 oranges. Like, if we just start off with the basic 8 colors that you get from Crayola, you know, red, brown, you know, red, green, yellow, blue, brown, black. And is it pink in there? One of those other colors. And just work up from there. Like, yellow and blue make green. So let's make green off green. Let's do seafoam. Let's do lagoon. Let's do this. You know, it'll be great. Versus light blue, dark blue, baby blue, off blue, on blue. I feel like that would be better. And like, if you look at the names of the colors, right? The yellows, they are melon yellow, lemon yellow, pastel yellow, and then you got sunflower yellow and Carina yellow. Then you got yellow green, and even with the greens, you got forest green, deep green, emerald green, mint green, peacock green, and then the blue is cerulean blue. I can never pronounce the word. Baby blue, pastel blue, turquoise blue, royal blue, Napoleon blue, sky blue. They have dark violet, deep violet, and pastel violet, but it's still, those are not, you need a purple, like a for real good purple. That would be great, in my opinion. But again, I feel like for $13, You do the math, you're paying way, way less for an alcohol brush tip marker than if you were getting into crafting. So like say if you were getting into alcohol markers and you wanted to go out and buy Copics right away, no coupon. Like one Copic is up to, you can get them from $4 to $8 a piece. So if we did the cheapest, if you got 5 Copics for $4, you still paying less to get all 50 of these markers. And then say if you like this color a lot, which is this orangey pink red color that I just used. Once this dries out and you really like that and you're like, oh, I'm into this alcohol marker thing, then you upgrade to Copic, this color, and that's how you do it. I know sometimes a lot of people will go out and buy them, and those people are confident in their coloring, which is great, but not everyone is confident in their coloring at the very beginning, so you can't really, I wouldn't recommend going out and buying $400 or $500 worth of markers and you don't like it. That's just me though. That's my opinion. My 2 cents. So anyway, back to chatting, right? Chatting. So Nicholas has his cone on still, but it's gonna come off in a few more days. I think tonight before we go to bed, I'll take it off. And the reason why I had it on is because, you know, if you've ever owned a cat, you know their tongues are like sandpaper. So if, you know, if he goes to getting into his suture spot really, really good, he could lick it right back open and I'd be right back at the vet. And he'd be right back charging me right back some more money. So, better safe than sorry. And I feel like he's so clunky, like he bumps into the wall and everything. And the way he walks, if you've ever watched like a cat walk, they kind of walk suave. So you see Nicholas, right? So this is the cone, and then he's like boop, boop, boop. The cone is like swaying. I'm like, oh goodness. He looks so silly. And every time I see him, I laugh at him. Thankfully, he don't know why I'm laughing, because I feel like he would be the kind of cat that would be like, oh, you laughing at me? Okay, come here. Let me talk to you right quick. Let's go in this dark alley. Because sometimes I box with him. Like I'm like, poosh, poosh, with my fist to his face. And he's like, watch it, girl. Don't get too close. That was my face. And then when I walk away, he'll slap me. You know, he'll swat at me. Like, oh, you want to play, huh? Okay. Woo. And so, like, my son will go in his face, too. He's like, Nicholas, Nicholas, Nicholas. Just picture a little kid getting in, you know, how kids are. And Nicholas like, listen, child. I'm an old man. I don't have time for that. Gone. And he'll whap him good. Thankfully, my son has on his head. And Nicholas usually will grab his plait versus getting him. I'm like, stop it. Both of y'all. And Nicholas look at me like, he started it, and he'll run off. I'm like, dude. And I'll tell my son, leave him alone. Cats are very, very unpredictable. Because last night my son was saying something. I was like, Nicholas probably, he was like, I love Nicholas. I say, Nicholas probably don't feel the same way about you. Like, he just put up with you. But if he could talk, he'd be like, get this kid out of here. Because sometimes my son does stuff and Nicholas will look at him like, I can't with you. And he kind of like runs off. I'm like, oh, you ran the cat off. So funny. I'm going to put some pink in here. It probably won't look too hot, but you know what? I'm liking that whole pink-orange setup, so we're going to try it and see how it looks. Looks barely noticeable, which is great. And it looks okay. I'm going to go back in with the orange. Is that orange? I mean yellow. Didn't mean orange. That wasn't even the right one though. Y45 is what we're using. Yeah, Y45. I like that they tell you the name even though it's not on the barrel or anything. I guess that keeps down costs, because it's cheaper to print off a whole bunch of cards than it would be to put the name on the marker, because all of these are just the same barrel. You fill it up with the ink and you go. I can respect them for that. And I ordered it and it came fairly fast, like within a couple of days. It wasn't like, I don't think these markers were at the warehouse where I live. They came from Kentucky, so that's how long it took to get here. A couple of days. So we're gonna do their tail. I wish it was a lighter green. Like, it's a light green in here, but I wish it was a green in between like these three colors without me having to mix them to make the color that I'm looking for. That's okay. We're just gonna work through it. Can believe this year's almost gone. Like, it, if you blinked, you're gonna miss 2021. I know we're probably like, yes, that's a great thing, but literally I feel like if you blinked, 2021 has eluded you. And I can't say that I'm upset that it's gone. Like, this is probably one of the, last year was crazy. No doubt, hands down, it was probably one of the weirdest, stressful, saddest years for a lot of people. But this year, it's not even like the comeback year, right? And I think I said this before, like 2022 would probably be the year that things get back to quote-unquote normal. And now I'm even thinking maybe 2023. I mean, things are getting back to what people consider to be normal, but nothing will ever be normal again. So I'm using R5. I think I'm going to use R5 for his little head. I want that to be a different color. Oh no, we're going to use R3. R3 is a little bit more red, but not super red. Like a pink red. Yep, so it's interesting, right? It's so interesting how things have unfurled. And we're going to give her so we're going to go ahead and do her hair color now. I'll give her some brown hair. I was trying to debate on her skin tone, because, you know, skin, for me, when I do the skin tone, it kind of directs me on how I want to do the hair. This bird is super cute. I picked this picture from the bird alone, right? Super duper cute little birdie. Today, I think I'm going to pull out the die cutting machine. I was talking to one of my good friends about die cutting. And I've told y'all before, I'm really not into die cutting as much as I once was. Like, I really was into die cutting a long time ago. But you remember I broke my machine, Betty Lou. I think that's the name we gave her. So I broke her because I was die cutting, embossing, all that stuff. And you know, it's so interesting how people say, oh, I like to take my cell phone with me because I don't want to carry around a heavy camera, and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. But when you think about some of the machinery that we have in crafting, I like that they have embossing machines only. I like that they have these kind of machines only, because it takes, for me, it takes the stress off of the other machine. I don't have to worry about sandwiches and all that other stuff. Like for embossing machines, you know, you just need the embossing plate and some paper. You don't need you know, a plate of this or that or that. Even like the fold plate systems that they have, like Diamond Press, Sizzix. I don't know who was first. I don't want to start no controversy. But I think that was a very smart thing to do, because maybe you don't do a lot of die cutting. Although you may use die cuts, but you may like embossing folders. Like I like embossing. It's a few things that I want to try, some new processes. I mean, it's the same thing, but I just want to get into like making a mess, I guess. So we'll be seeing it, hopefully. But yeah, I feel like it's good to have a machine that kind of does one thing versus the other. Like, you know, we remember back in the day, it was a VHS that was connected to the TV. You see how quick they took those things apart? Because I guarantee you what happened was the video got stuck in the VHS portion. And then you couldn't even watch TV if you're taking it to the shop. So they went back to having them separate. Just like I remember when computers had the monitor and the CPU together. And they took those apart again. Like sometimes convenience isn't really convenient, right? But you have to go through that to learn that. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I don't think this is a great idea. Because a lot of times, like when you tell people stuff, and maybe it's just my friends, they don't listen, right? It's happened to me forever. Friends, family. Like if you say, oh yeah, so-and-so is having a sale, and this is what I got, they'll come back and tell you, oh yeah, I talked to Marjorie down the street and she said so-and-so was having a sale. I just told you that. Yeah, I know, but but what? So I'm not sure if you have friends in your life like that. Like I have a friend, you know, a lot of my friends, big roommate does it to me. Mom does it to me, or did it to me. My aunt though, she would take my word for it. Because it's not like I sit up here and, you know, fabricate the stories. Like I remember before. Now I've driven a lot in my lifetime, and I hate driving now. So what I'm about to say, you're gonna be like, oh, okay. And I've said this before. I was like, I told my mom this, because you know I've traveled from driving from like Virginia to Texas before, Georgia, drove through New York. So I've driven through a lot of states, North Carolina, South Carolina, a lot of states. And I've formed opinions about the license plates that I've seen. And I always would tell my mom, and I told a big roommate this too. I was like, hey, if you're ever driving and you see a Florida tag, like you're behind someone with a Florida tag, move, right? Get from behind them. I'm going to lighten her hair, give her a little bit of wisdom with this WG, and or darken it. No, we're going to lighten it. Don't worry. Let's give a few strands. And then we're going to go in with this blender, the 0. And we're going to hopefully make it lighter. Yep, there we go. Okay. So we're going to go back again with the WG. I like these images so much. The markers are great too, for the price. And you know, for what I do, it's not like I'm out here selling my artwork. So I think this is a good price as well. Now, what if this was $25, would I buy them? No, I would not. And the reason why I wouldn't buy them is because I don't feel like they have enough colors in there. The color thing is a big deal for me. Like, it's not 2 oranges in here. Even though it's labeled 2 oranges, I'm telling you, the swatch does not lie, right? It's just this one orange. It's one orange. You see all these yellows, you see all the pinks, you see all the blues. I think it's like 3 browns. So it's not a lot of variety for me. Not enough variety of the colors. For 50 colors, I feel like you could have gotten a little bit more or different colors. And I feel like I'm missing a purple. Like this makes me think, oh, this is going to be a good purple. But then when I go and use it, I only have this one plum color purple. Not even like solid purple. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. But I think for the price that they are and the quantity that you get, it's a good deal. For 13, 15, I spent $15, but they're 13. The price I think is 13 something plus tax. So I feel like that's a very good deal. So at the price it is currently, yes, I would repurchase them. But if they were more than that, I would not. And the brush tip, I feel like this brush tip, I have some Spectrum Noir markers that are not brush tip, but they have a tip similar to this, which is really weird. So it's okay. I really want to use a color pencil for this dress, but we're not. Have you purchased these markers? Do you like them? Do you like SPREEY? When, like I said, I was enabled. I didn't mess this dress up with my strokes. I'll fix it. I'll try to fix it though. When I saw this at first, I was like, oh, that's a really, that's a shoe company is what I thought. Don't ask me. I just thought it was a shoe company. I don't know. So we're gonna go in with this PB75. So in my head, PB is purple blue. Is that what you got? PB, purple blue, or peanut butter? The colors do work well with each other. The chisel portion, I wouldn't say it's great or not great. It feels, some of them feel a little rough. This one is okay, but you can definitely hear like the scraping, which I think you probably can hear them on a lot of markers. So I don't know if that's a good thing. But also, if you use this little tip corner piece right here, it's great. It's great. I like it. So you see, like if we go over where we just put those dark purple lines down, it's great. And it does get good coverage. I mean, it's chisel, so I want to color this in a little bit more right there. I'm going to get another color. And I'm going to go over that with that and see what we get. So you know how you have those dresses or shirts that have the seams and all the creases or a different thread? I want to do that with these colors. And we're going to use this light purple. P84. I think it's light. Let's see. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. And that, oop, that should cover it in. Yeah, that does great. That's real good. You can't even see what I'm doing. I'm telling you. Yeah, that's great. So like I say, if you want to get in that corner, you can just turn it and get in that corner. Get in my belly. Like that. And I like the colors that it's like blending into, that it's making. And since we did that, and we're going to go back over with our light color once more and call it a day for her dress. All right. Yeah, that looks good. Very, very good in my opinion for the color that we're using. Now, this is not, I'm not saying, oh, this is the greatest dress I've ever seen in my life. It's amazing. Look, it looks good. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. And one thing I do like about it is, like, you can see it here. You see those lines? They're not drying up as harsh lines, so that's a really good thing. I like that a lot. Okay, let's see. So we're going to use YR, which I think is yellow red for the skin. And I can go a little bit crazy, I think, and use a chisel again. Because it's a larger surface than the bird, I guess. Now, I do want to make sure I'm keeping my strokes the same way, though. That just makes sense to me. I learned that in learning this journey. It looks like I'm making circles, but I'm really not. It's so funny. All right, so there we go. Okay. Now, what would I do with her? I don't know. What would you do with your lady? You could cut her out and put her on a cover. She's huge. Like, she's a big image, which I think a lot of us probably enjoy, having larger images to do other things with. So I do appreciate that from Prima. Again, this is free. I will leave the link in the description box for you. I think what I will probably do is kind of fussy cut her out onto something like another background, maybe. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I also don't want to say, oh yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I decide not to do that because all these little flowers around here, you know, fussy cutting that is kind of going to be a pain. If you get full coverage, there are no spots. See, I didn't get full coverage right here, but there are no spots. Like, you can't really tell where they end and meet, which is good. So I do like that about the marker. But you know, like when you're coloring, you got to pay attention to that. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to do this, because it may not work in your favor. I hope that you've enjoyed this color in chat. I definitely have enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun, and it makes me happy. And I think our lady came out pretty decent. I got to make sure not to color her teeth this color, because she probably would not be happy with me if I color her teeth that color. The good thing is we can kind of make a boo-boo right here and color the hair area, because it's a lighter color, so it won't be that affected. But as you can see right now, it's kind of splotchy because I haven't finished. Like, I didn't color everything, so now I'm just going to go back. You know what I found sometimes in markers? Sometimes, it doesn't happen all the time, sometimes the ends don't seem to really match up very well. And I think that if you want your ends to match up, you probably need to buy a higher quality, more expensive marker to make sure that you can say, oh, it's not the marker. It's definitely, I mean, it's not me. It's definitely the marker that's messed up and not me. She's pretty. Pretty lady. All right, and I think I want to give her some purple lipstick. No. Nervous. Now I'm nervous. The whole thing I haven't been nervous, and now, oh, now you nervous? Let's just see. Oh, that's too dark. Too dark. Let's go to light pink. Hopefully I can find a light pink. Nope. Nope. We'll have to go with something. Let's go with P88. P88, I think, is pink. Yeah. It looks a bit on the too much lipstick, not enough lip situation, but we're gonna fix that. I think that's good. And now I'm just going to give her a little, if I can, a light tint on her eyes. A light tint on her eyes right here. Okay. Don't ask me what I'm doing, okay? Like if you're sitting there thinking, what is she doing? Good question. Very, very good question. Because I don't know. I'm just coloring her eyes up. There we go. All right. So this is our completed image. I have to say, I like it. I like it a lot. Her arm and chest, I should have colored in a little bit more, but that's okay. And I print this on 110 Nina something paper. And we use these markers that I did not get for free. I paid for them with my own money. And I would have to say that I enjoyed using them. I wish I had more colors. But for the price, it's a good deal. So I want to say thank you all for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed as well. Leave the comments that I asked you for down in the below. And if you would buy these for the price, $13, $14, let me know. Until next time, happy crafting.